Saturday morning, just before 2:30 a.m., police were called to the home of 28-year-old Atatiana Jefferson after neighbors noticed her front door was open.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Eric Muldrow here with Code Red Conversations. This is in regard to the shooting in Texas where the police officer shot the black woman whose front door was open. The neighbor called. It was like 2 o'clock. It was early in the morning. The neighbor called saying that her front door had been open since 10, had been open for a few hours. And he was concerned because the doors never opened. So the police were called and officers were dispatched to the area, and they were doing a search to see what the issue was. And from what I gather, from what I've seen so far, now I'm always trying to be judicious to the officer, to all involved actually. But from what I see, from what I've seen with the body camera video, I just really wrestled with the justification for shooting. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
If she was in possession of a gun, what's wrong with that? That's her house. You see someone shining a flashlight through your window, you don't know who it is, you respond with a gun in your hand inside your own home. I don't see how that would be problematic. Now, I get that officers don't have that when we evaluate police uses of force, they don't necessarily, those evaluating don't, we have to understand that a police officer doesn't have the benefit of hindsight. That shouldn't be taken into consideration during the call. But I'm thinking about all the steps that were taken prior to getting to that point where he decided to shoot through the window. Man, I mean, I really don't want to jump on the officer. It does not make any sense to me why he would just shoot. You got to consider the fact that you haven't announced yourself. Not that I saw. There was no announcement made of their presence in the area. There was, you didn't yell inside. Police department, is there anyone home? Police department, if there's anyone in there, could you please come out? Attempts made to try to contact her, speaking to the neighbors to see if they have a number where they can call to see what's going on. You know, I saw one video where the officer was looking through the window and the house looked like it was kind of in disarray. Maybe they were under the impression that it was a robbery had taken place or something along those lines. And I get the fact that you want to be stealthy in that situation. But my goodness, it could have been anything. It could have been anything. There could have been a multitude of reasons why things were the way that they were. I'm torn over the fact that, yeah, the door was ajar. It's never open. It's early in the morning. I'm torn over the fact that I trust that the officers were trying to do the right thing. I'm torn over that fact. But at the same time, and like once again, I wrestle with whether with their decision to not announce themselves, because if there is a deadly threat inside, you don't want to necessarily give them the tactical advantage. But you don't know what's going on. This is a health and welfare check. This is what is basically known as a welfare check. You have no idea why the doors are open. You don't know whether they might have been drinking and were being irresponsible. There's so many factors that led to their decision. I think I just feel so bad for the woman. I feel so bad for the family, the neighbor who feels guilty. I was watching an interview where he felt guilty over what took place because he called.
She died at the scene. James Smith says he's the concerned caller who first alerted police.
I feel guilty because had I not called the Fort Worth Police Department, my neighbor would still be alive today.
And the police departments and that local police department, my heart breaks for the communities, all the communities involved, whether it be the black community, the law enforcement community, the tension that continually mounts over and over again between these two entities. Sometimes it just seems like there will be no end in sight. And then, of course, the media spins it. A white police officer shoots a black woman.
An African-American woman was shot and killed by a white police officer while she was inside her own home.
That is always the case. That is always the emphasis, to try to keep the tension there, to draw the ratings, to get people to watch. That really angers me. Because you can't even say what I saw was from the video camera. Was he even able to decipher what color she was at that moment? I don't know. But everything has to be about ethnicity. Everything has to be about skin color. It drives me up the wall, and it adds to the hysteria of the black person who has to fear for their safety because cops are just gunning them down. It drives me utterly insane. There has to be a way for officers to be able to improve when it comes to the area of training, to be more tactically proficient, to be better at making a decision, to be wiser when making approaches, to exhaust every other available option in an encounter like this before you make the decision to start peeking through windows, because there might be a threat, because how might that be perceived by those that are on the inside? But also I get the fact that, yeah, you want to know what's going on. I peeked through many windows over my career, many windows, and was, by the grace of God, I was never confronted with a gun. But man, you're talking about early in the morning, like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Man, it really breaks my heart. But I don't see how, like, I wonder why that lady left her front door open like she did. And I know the way that this is going to be spun over the next few weeks and months and maybe even years to come. It's just going to add more fuel to the fire of the tension between the black community and the law enforcement community. So I pray that we can come to a conclusion to all this, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Let's pray for all involved. Let's be a voice. Let's be a voice of reason. Let's try to gather more information. I don't know if any additional information can change the results or the opinions that I have right now, but my goodness, once again, it just frames the argument and adds to the tension amongst all involved, anyone concerned. It's heartbreaking. It's tragic. And we'll see how this thing pans out over the next few weeks, months, and years. So those are just my thoughts. Feel free to comment down below what your opinions, what your thoughts are on this incident. I wish I had more to share. Yeah, I'm torn to a degree, but man, officers out there, be tactically sound, be wise in your decision making. And for the citizens out there, you have a right to have a gun in your home. That's not a bad thing. You have a right to protect your home. So anyway, hope this video helps. Just my short thoughts, and I'll talk to y'all later. God bless.